Hi everyone, it's Lehman with Lace Covered Skies. I'm here today to do a tutorial on these envelopes, or this envelope, and I've done a similar envelope to this before, but the one thing I changed with this is I made little windows and I put acetate in them so that it's a little bit see-through. And if I hold it like that, I think you can see that the windows kind of overlap, or maybe you can't see it. Let me see if I can. So there's that window, and here's this window right here. So I am going to show you how I made this, but it's going to be, since I'm working on retro journals, we're going to work with retro papers. So the first step is to, I guess you don't have to do this step, but I do this step because I like things to be a little bit more sturdy. The first thing would be to glue two pieces of paper together. So what I did here is I glued this piece of paper from a cookbook onto this piece, which is a knitting book page. So I did that twice, and then I did it with this as well. This one, and then this one. And then I also glued a bunch of regular book pages together. So I just took this book and I started gluing two pieces of paper together just for a little while. So I think I did that many. So you will see these papers. You probably saw them yesterday because I film my mask making videos after my tutorial, but I post my mask making videos first. So you're going to see me work on those. You would have seen it already. But what I'm going to use for this tutorial today are these papers from a National Geographic magazine, like a 50s one. I thought I had it here, but I don't. So what I did was I glued two pieces of paper, two pages of that magazine together, and I did that a few times. But the first step is to cut the paper after you've glued it. So you're going to glue it together first, then you're going to take those papers and you're going to cut them to the size that you need it to be. Now I am going to be cutting my papers, I'm going to be cutting my windows using a die cutting machine, so my envelope needs to be smaller than the die cutting machine. So I'm going to trim this paper down to the correct size. After the paper is trimmed, I'm going to do the folding. And I am folding it. This is going to be the front. So I just kind of eyeball it. I want it to have some room once the top is folded over. So I think about right there would be good. I'm going to fold it down. And then I'm going to fold this guy down to right there. So there we can start seeing the envelope come together. Next, I am going to cut in the windows. So I have my handy dandy die cutting machine here, as I'm sure you've seen so many times. And let's go ahead and cut the first window, which is going to be the front window. And that's going to be on this side a little bit. So let's go ahead and set it right there. And it is a little bit to the right, but not too far. So make sure that it's straight. All right, sorry if that was loud. Now we're going to make the other pocket. And I like the other pocket to be bigger and to be more centered. So I'm just doing this so I can see, but make sure you don't die cut it when it's all folded up. So this is going to go about right there. I just want it to be in the middle. And I like it to overlap. So I'm making sure that it's overlapped with this window right here. And let's go ahead and all right. And you can do this with anything. It works beautifully with scrapbook paper. You can do it with book page, which I might make some with book page on my Mass Making Monday for these. All right, so once the windows are cut, you can see that they're overlapped. Once the windows are cut, you're going to corner punch if you want to corner punch. You don't have to corner punch. And I just had my corner punch here. Where did it go? All right, so I was literally just corner punching like a million little pieces of paper. All right, but you're going to corner punch these two corners, and these two corners. So I am going to switch to, so let's pretend that we corner punched that. After the corner punching, we're going to cut the transparency. So I have a piece of transparency here. For these, I like it when there's a little bit of writing. So what I do is and I think this would look cool with like tracing paper or glassine in here as well, especially if it's printed on. Let me actually turn it this way so you're going to cut it so that there's room to sew. So I just cut with scissors because this doesn't have to be like completely straight because it's not going to be seen fully. And then I will go ahead and cut this piece. So there we have it. Once the transparencies are cut, we are going to put it on the inside and put a little dot of glue. I'm going to be using art glitter glue because you don't need to, but just because it's transparency, I just put a tiny bit because it's going to be sewn in anyways, and I've definitely done it without putting any glue. I just sometimes will hold it there while I sew it, but you're going to put that there. This is the inside of the envelope, and then on the other side as well. Just making sure it's right side up. And for these windows, I like when there's a little bit of writing, like right there. So that's how it's going to look. I think it looks really cool. And let me show you how it looks with something inside. It also looks really cool. All right, after, I'm not going to go to the sewing machine, but you would sew around the edge, and if it's on the part that goes in, I would sew very close to the edge just so it doesn't get caught. But I'm not going to go to the sewing machine, so I'm going to pull one up that I already sewed. So let's pretend we went to the sewing machine. This is what I would have done. Just sew around the edge. Now after it's sewn around, the next step would be to sew the envelope. So while it's still open, I sew a line down here. Like I sew a line on this edge, the open edge. I sew a line on the edge that's going to remain open, and then I fold it up like this, and then I start up here, I sew a line down this way, I sew around the bottom, and then up this way and back around to close it up. So I have a sample of that as well. So here it is. I sewed down here, I went all the way around. So we have an envelope. After we have the envelope, we are going to, and as you can see, this is very similar to my other envelopes. The only difference is the window. We're going to add the closure. And the closure would be the same, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. So we're going to add the closure and make it just a little bit different. So I have punched a circle right there, or I guess it's a hole, and a hole right there. And we are going to add these hole punched circles. And they are 4 layers thick. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and use gray. I'm using gray brads. And the reason why I'm using brads instead of violets is because I'm running out of eyelets, and I had so many eyelets, but I've used up so many, and I feel like I can't find eyelets that will work well with a crocodile. So now I'm like slowing down my usage of the eyelets, and I'm switching to brads, which brads look just as cool, I think. So I'm gonna put that in there and fasten the brad on. And then I'm going to put this brad on. Actually, it would have been much easier to put the closure on before sewing it shut. Just a note. All right. There we go. Now I'm going to take one of these that I have made up, and I'm going to have a video that I show you guys how I make these. I'm going to be making a lot of these because I punched up all of my scrapbook papers. I mean the scraps of the scrapbook papers. All right, so there we have that. I'm going to take my hole punch, and here I will have to use a eyelets, and I'm trying to use these eyelets. They don't work as well with my crocodile for some reason, and oddly enough, it's the same brand, so it really doesn't make sense. This is We Are Memory Keepers, and the crocodile is We Are Memory Keepers, but it doesn't work as well for me. All right, I have my thread. This is just crochet thread, and we are going to try to measure it so that it wraps around twice. I'm actually really bad at measuring this, but let me just see. This is a little bit longer than 25 inches, which might be right because my other envelopes were smaller, and for the other ones I did 25 inches. So I am going to do, this is the same step as my other envelopes. I am putting this through like so. Actually, this side is prettier. So I am putting this through like this, and I'm going to put the eyelet in to hold the thread there. And then let's go ahead and clamp it down with the crocodile. I have found that with this brad or this eyelet, I need to kind of do it lightly first, like just a little bit, and then it does okay. Like, it's not the prettiest, but it's not leaving any rough edges, and it looks a little rough here, but that's what I have to work with, so we're just gonna go with it. I'm definitely gonna be on the hunt for some eyelets. Where do you guys get your eyelets from? I bought a really good batch from eBay, but I'm almost out of that, so. All right. Now, so I'm doing 2 instead because I want to wrap them around each other. So I just realized that I made this way too long, so we can make it shorter. I'm gonna make it that short. As you can see, I didn't really measure it. We're gonna make it, let me just see actually, if it goes around. That's fine. So I guess I should measure this so that I don't have to guess next time. This is, I think 10 inches will do. It's a little longer than 10 inches, but 10 inches will work great with this. So what I do is I just start tying it. I slide it under the circle and I tie it once. I do a double knot the first time. Then I wrap it around the top, just go around the other side, and I do a double knot as well. So once, and then twice. And then I put glue. We're going to use our glitter glue again. And I just put glue because it's kind of unstable when it's like still moving around. And I'll cut the thread once the glue dries. So I'm just going to add some glue near the center there. And then go ahead and do the same thing on the bottom one. And there we have it. So I can't fasten it for you to see yet, but that's how it's going to end up looking. And I think it's going to look really cool, especially with these magazine pages in the retro journals. So I'm going to close out this video and do a Mask Making Monday video where I'm trying to make a whole bunch of these. And you guys would have already seen that video yesterday. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you liked it, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below. And if you want to see more videos from me, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you here. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.